What's up and welcome to RC Retro. So what you just saw was just some video highlights of my teardown and rebuild of my Team LOSI XX4. Now, you will see in the future a running video of this buggy, but here's a little spoiler alert. You will also see a full detailed build of another XX4. That's right. So if you thought you missed out by seeing this fully rebuilt on the channel, no worries. In the not too distant future, you're going to see a full build. But that's all I'm saying about that. So for this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my experience with rebuilding this. And I basically have dubbed this buggy the money pit. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a few moments. But first, to help me rebuild this XX4, I referred to the manual online. And in addition to that manual, I've also referred to the Addendum manual for the XX4 Worlds Edition. And so one of the first things right off the bat that I noticed about this buggy when I was rebuilding it was that the original owner had the springs that were on the shock shafts in the wrong place. So in the front you're supposed to have the springs, and in the rear you're supposed to have spacers. These were the opposite way around, where the springs were in the rear. So I just thought that that's the way it was supposed to be, and it wasn't until I realized that there was an addendum for the Worlds Edition. So I had to go back and forth between two manuals, but not a big deal. We straightened that out. Also, the original belt cover that came with the XX4, the way I got it, appeared to have had a crack in it. And I was like, oh, it's cracked, it's broke. But many people brought it to my attention in the comments from the first video of my XX4 that people were doing this deliberately in the past. So that this way it was easier to take off the belt cover and service the belts. I just thought it cracked. But hey, listen, that's what some people shared with me, and I'm going to take their word for it because not one person, but a few people shared that with me. I do have in here a Hobbywing Quicrun 13.5 turn brushless motor and a Quicrun ESC. And I think this is going to be just fine because I do plan on getting this out on Keith from RC Icon, getting this out on his track sometime in the late spring or possibly early summer. And I think a 13.5 on his track will be great to open this up. I did hit, when I was bench testing this, full throttle, and the tires were ballooning. So I don't know, maybe it's a little too fast, but I highly doubt that. But regardless, it's what I had laying around, so I decided, what the hey, and threw it in. Now also you noticed in the video highlights that the chassis was cracked. And so I hit up the LOSI XX4 Facebook group, threw it out there. Some people were telling me to use like epoxies and glues and all that stuff, and then somebody was like, yo man, I have that exact chassis brand new in the bag. So I was like, how much would you like for it? Very reasonable price, but there you go, a brand new XX4 chassis right there. So not with any of the holes in it, not the graphite one, just I guess a basic one. I don't know, but does the trick, and I will put a chassis protector on here, so this way we try to minimize the amount of scuffs and scrapes it gets. Now also, it was recommended that I should also get a Moto Obscura bulkhead, which in the beginning of the highlights reel that you saw the white original plastic bulkhead, and then here's the black all aluminum one. So that's a nice little upgrade right there, because everybody was like, you need that on this kit. So I got that. Now, that kind of led me to why I am dubbing this the money pit, because it was just one thing after another. So starting off with the list of items that I had to purchase, once I already spent about $350 on this just to get it in that raw, roughed up shape. The first thing I did was buy new Tough Racing Team LOSI XX4 belts. So obviously when I opened up the belt cover, you saw how disintegrated and shredded those belts are. I actually ordered 2 sets of these because I figured why not have a spare set just in case the ones I put on here, tear or stretch or whatever the case is. Plus these are from China and took about 2 weeks to get here. In case I ever needed another set, why wait? I have it right here. Then of course the bearings on here were shot, so I had to order a bearing kit. The rear springs on here were the red ones, and I was advised by my buddy Tom, who was a semi-pro driver for Team LOSI, that I definitely want to have the yellow springs on here, so I sourced a pair of those on eBay. And then because many people in the Facebook group was telling me I should replace my front bulkhead with a Moto Obscura one, I went onto their website and was going to get it, and I did, and then saw that it was $89, and I was like, oh man, like another $100. And then while I was on there, I ended up getting a wire harness that mounts right to your servo to help you secure your wires in place. And then I also got this carbon battery retainer over here. So we went a little bit above $100 at that point. And then I had to get some new wing mounts. Then the body and the paintwork altogether came out to about $100. Yes, that was painted by my buddy Chris, who I'm just going to call him New York Chris because that's where he's from, not too far from me, about a 3.5-hour ride. I ordered new RPM ball cups because the other ones that were on here were too short, and I wanted to have a little bit more meat on the threads, and I didn't want to risk one of those ball cups pulling off of the servo arm over here. So that was some more money, and it was like all these little things that just kind of added up over time. We're looking at all together probably somewhere between $600 and $700 invested into the XX4. That's to purchase it in the shape I received it, and then to restore it and bring it to where it is now. So yeah, that is a pretty penny right there. So but you know what, it kept me occupied, it gave me something to do. And I'm really looking forward to getting this out and running this. And this isn't going to be one of those where I run it one time and call it a day and put it up on the shelf. No. This is going to be in my stable of avid runners. So whenever I do get a chance to run off-road, this will be one of my go-to buggies for sure. So it should be, considering the money I invested into this, right? So I really enjoyed rebuilding this. There was only one real issue I had with this rebuild that took me some time to kind of figure out, and that was when I was bench testing this, the whole front right wheel was wobbly, wiggling back and forth. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was like shimming everything in the front, and it was still wobbly. And then the only thing I could think of was maybe it was coming from the steering or one of the steering posts. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. To be more specific, it was coming from the right steering post. It was moving up and down, causing the wobbling to take place on the right wheel. And on the top inside of the belt cover, where the bearing sits, where your steering post would feed into, well, the top of that was worn, like the inside of the belt cover. And so even though there was a bearing in there that the post goes into and then the belt cover goes on top, it was like worn just enough to provide just a little wiggle in there. So I just put a shim, the very top, then the bearing, and then I fed the post right through. And you're probably like, I still don't get what you're saying from all the hand gestures you're doing. But just sharing with you, that was the issue. And now this wheel doesn't wobble anymore when I hit the throttle. So I'm glad I was able to figure that out just with a shim. I was shimming all in the wrong place, but now I got it. So I'm interrupting this video just to share that as I was almost done editing this video, something else really cool arrived for the XX4, and that's this body right here. Now this is the box art for the 1999 release of the World's Edition, and that was to commemorate Juka Sonari's IFMAR championship in '99 with the XX4. I just love the paint scheme of this, and when I purchased the XX4 right here from Colorado Larry, he also said that he would eventually paint me up a body, and he asked what paint scheme, and I said this one. And so all these months later, he hit me up and was like, order's up, body's done, and he shipped it to me, and it just arrived just as I was about to upload this video to YouTube, and thought I would just throw this into the video as well. This is some phenomenal work. Love the neon into the orange, like the flame. You got the glittery emerald green in the back, and you have the pearl white in the front. And what's even cooler about this is that he included the original XX4 World Edition decal sheet. Check that out. So that's going to look awesome on here eventually. I'm going to run it with this shell, but when it's not being run, I will probably have this body on it in the background for you guys all to admire. All right, so now back to the regular video. Now there's only one more thing to do, and that's just get it out and enjoy it, but that's not going to be in this video. That'll be in a future video when I do get it out on a track, preferably Keith's. All right, Keith, I'm coming up for another visit. All right, so with that, I want to thank you for sticking with me through this video. It was a lot of me talking and just sharing about the work I did on this XX4. But yeah, like I said, you could expect a lot of LOSI content on this channel. And this is something that I'm very proud of and just wanted to share with all of you. So I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, thank you for your support. And I'll see you guys on my next. Take care now.